What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing this evening? Thank you for joining me on the live stream. I truly appreciate that, folks. Uh, so, we have an interesting topic tonight. And the reason I drew this topic is I get asked this question a lot. So, I figured, why not make it a live stream and discuss it a little bit and, pull up some research, some information that I found and share it with you folks because maybe some of us just don't know, what would happen and how fast would it happen? Questions like that we'd like to ask and get some answers to. Now, everything is going to be speculative in the aspect of that, people can assume what's going to happen and use history and things like that nature to kind of figure out what may happen if it happens and, things like that. Watch what what has happened to other countries and stuff. So, we're going to look at some of that stuff, but first all, we need to do some in-house stuff. We need to go over a few things before we get into the meat and potatoes of the live stream. First of all, I guess I should say hi to everybody. So say what's up to everybody out in chat. I'm going to back this chat up as far as it'll let me back it up to, so I can say hello to you folks. And I truly appreciate the folks that don't mind me saying hello to the viewers. But evidently some folks do. Anyways, what's up, Nate? Good to see you. Harvey Black. Joni Friels, JT, Van City. I like that name. Oh, no, okay, there we go. Now, I first that threw me off, Little Miss Prepper. I thought that was a name from somebody on the stream. Have a great day. Good to see you as well. All right, who else do we got in chat? Coffee first. On my way. Little Miss Prepper, Little Alaskan Home Place. You see here. I like to read chat as I'm scrolling through this as well. What's up, Mark? Good to see you. TN Prepping Lady. Good to see you as well. Joni Friels, the singing Beaverine. Good to see you. What's up, Joyce? Passamaquoddy. Blue Vandal. Little Lone Prepper. I got Little Miss. All right. Steve Spillman, good to see you. Who else do we got? My eyes are not as good as sometimes they can't focus on this chat when it's moving this fast, but I appreciate it. I'm scrolling through, make sure I don't repeat myself. I'm trying to. What's up, Barbara? Good to see you as well. Let me see. And they are very cute. Pep. Sometimes I just wonder what you guys are talking about. What's up, Liz Chavez? Good to see you. Tiny Titans in the house. Scott's in the house as well. Texas T is in the house. I got Nate. OkiCon, I'm glad you're here. I got an Oki and Alien. I got something to mention there because I finally got your guys' stuff out. What's up, Maryland? Good to see you as well. You see Dale, good to see you. Yarn Prepper's in the house. Let's Talk Prepping is in the house. Things keep on getting worse. Exactly. Let's Talk Prepping. It does. And it just doesn't seem to let up. You figured maybe they would let things would get better so we'd have less to talk about on these streams, but it's just an onslaught, right? What's up, Jeff? My neighbor Jeff, JT and Jeff, pretty much neighbors. What's up, Jennifer Cruz? Good to see you. Mitten Prepper, good to see you as well. All right, I'm going to try to scroll a little faster now. Big Dog is in the house, and from MA's in the house. Bougie Prepper, Mod Squad. Rena LaRue, Peter Rouse. Lawrence, what's up, man? Visiting us all the way from overseas. Let me see. Awesome. I got Bougie. I got Jennifer. I got Nancy. Did I get you, Nancy? Frank Short. Gardner Josh. Long time no see. Morty. Teresa D. And yeah, you can still I'm not 100%, but I'm getting there, folks. I'm getting a lot better. I'll tell you that. Marcia, thank you so much for the super chat. Hello, all of my prepared brothers and sisters. Love you all. Add one thing to your garden today. Good point. Empress Kimberly, good to see you. JRC. Gary's in the house. Stealth Mode. Celtic Grandma. Dr. Eric Kessel. Raka is in the house as well. Daryl Calhoun. I got Celtic Grandma. Sorry, I almost called you out twice. Lori D. Carlo Outdoor Adventures. Let me see. Did I get you, Empress? Homestead Oz, good to see you. Richard, Romans 12:18, John Jones, Moldy Soldier, Colleen Rich, Irish Rover, Teresa D. B. Charming. Let me see. I think I got everybody. Sunset, Dragon Slayer. I need to get going, right? I need to get started. PNW Prepper, good to see you. Christy Betts. I think I caught with everybody. All right. So some of you folks, there's a few things I want to show you. So yesterday, I was going to do a gardening video, That's usually my premise. I usually try to do something, right? I'm feeling better, so I wanted to, start the garden. Remember a while back we had discussed what are we going to do with these 50-gallon grow bags, and we decided we were going to do potatoes. We also decided we're going to do a Three Sisters and stuff like that. The Three Sisters stuff is the seedlings are starting to sprout, but instead of doing white potatoes, I'm doing sweet potatoes. So I'm going to go through that whole process, and I was going to share that yesterday, but things happen, and I'll show you. It's it never fails with me, and a lot of folks who've been watching me for quite some time know that this is one of, it always happens to me specifically. I don't know. But here's what happened yesterday when I tried to do a video. Anyway, so much for doing my 50-gallon grow bag sweet potato video. Rain happened to do its thing, typical Florida weather. And it started lightning and thundering. You guys can see the downpour that we're having here today in Florida. And way over there by that white table is where I was setting up to do my video for today. Well, I guess we won't be doing that. Be safe out there, folks. This is Gray. I'll see you guys on the rebound. So yeah, that happened. And got rained out. Luckily, I had my camera equipment. I saw it coming. I brought my camera equipment inside and stayed warm and stayed dry. Same weather here in Belgium. Yeah, it was definitely a downpour. More potatoes. One we have. DC is enough for me. Right, KT? Good to see you as well, brother. If everyone is having fun, let's hit that like button. I appreciate that, Carl Outdoors. What's up, Patty? Good to see you as well. Peter Rouse. Let me see. I saw it. Let me try to back that up. What did Peter say? Lightning strike took out my friend's server room. His house runs on computers. Wow. It's been getting nasty there. What's up, Chet? Good to see you. If it's raining, you ain't training. Right on. So I just wanted to share that with you. Why I didn't get a video out yesterday. And I was waiting for it to stop, and then it became nighttime. So I said, you know what? I'll just have to do it another day. Hopefully I can get it knocked out tomorrow, as well as another video that I need to get done for one of my affiliates. But also I wanted to let know Alien Prepper and Oki Khan, I got your guys' staplers out in the mail. They'll come priority to your house and the address that you sent me. The only person I haven't heard in Yarn Prepper, maybe you can help me with this, is Mander's Tattoo. They have yet to email me. So I don't know what to do. If you want to try to reach out to them, if you can, I don't have a way to do so. If I don't hear anything from you, Yarn or Manders, I will, I guess, rerun it on Thursday night and give this last stapler and kit away Thursday. I don't know what else to do. It's been a couple of weeks, so I don't know. I haven't had nothing, but I figured I'd at least try to let folks know out there. What's up, Minuteman? Good to see you. Kitsy Witsy, good to see you as well. Snake Bite, those staplers are awesome. I agree, my friend. So some of you folks might have been watching my Sunday shift report, and we're wondering who that gentleman was. Well, we did a little bit more research, and Harvey and some of the other folks in Discord, thank you, Yarn, I appreciate that, in the Discord, dropped his information. So I figured some of you folks that aren't in the Discord might want to follow him. Now, I know some of you folks don't do the TikTok thing or anything like that, but maybe you do the Instagram. So I figured regardless, I'll share his information because he deserves credit for where credit's due. That 3-minute spiel that he did on that I shared on my channel on Sundays on the Sunday Shift Report. So this is Blue Collar Official. This is TikTok. If you have TikTok, I know some of you guys don't like TikTok because you know, the whole China thing and whatnot. But if you do, that's his thing there. And then I think I had, and this is his Instagram. His name is Benjamin. If you care, you can follow him on Instagram as well. He does have a pretty decent following, you know, so there he is. I'm glad we could put a name to that awesome spiel that he did for us, or that I shared. He didn't do it for me specifically, but if you guys can't find him, just let me know. Like I said, the folks in Discord have quick access to this information. That's why I try to get everybody to go down to see you. What's up, Jan? Good to see you as well. Debadoo, Honey Bee's in the house. All right. But he's awesome. You know, I followed him on every social media platform that I could. Wouldn't it be cool if we could ever get him on the channel? That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Let me see, kid. It went to Walmart last night. Prices went up again. Get what you need, everyone, before it's gone. We saw some empty shelves and saw. Yes. So Kitsy Witsy, eggs. Let's focus on eggs for a second. As a matter of fact, I saw someone else post something about eggs before I started the live stream. Eggs are starting to skyrocket in price. Do you remember the good old days where you can get a dozen eggs for like 99 cents? Well, that's a thing of the past, folks. And, and they just keep on increasing and increasing and increasing. So, which really is hurtful to a lot of people, because some people are, we're seeing prices go skyrocket, between gas and food and everything else, but no one's pay is increasing. No one's pay is getting higher. Anybody who got, this little tiny bit of a raise, if you're on a fixed income, let's say Social Security or disability or whatever that may be, and that little percentage that you thought was going to be an increase in your pay for the year because you're on this fixed income, well, due to inflation and cost of goods and everything, it's you're going backwards. You know what I mean? You're definitely not going to be able to make ends meet. Matter of fact, I spoke to a gentleman. I'm not going to say his name. He had come into my shop and he said, "Hey, man, when I watch your stuff and stuff like that," I said, "Yeah, I appreciate that." And he said, "I'm literally living on rice and beans right now because he is a disabled person and he is not able to make ends meet. So they're having to use what they can just to get by for his entire family. So they're literally on rice and beans at this point." What's up, Infrared Survival? Good to see you. Except Congress themselves, they got a solid. Yeah, exactly. Right. The rich will always get rich as the poor become poor. And if you look at statistics, folks, I think it's 87% of the 87% of the folks out there, taking these polls and whatnot, saying the economy is headed in a nasty direction and are feeling the pinch. My question is who is that 13% that think the economy is going in a great direction? Because they have to be living in bizarro world, Kitsy Witsy says, "Get your spices, tea, coffee, staple foods. Those were starting to run thin." Roger that, Kitsy, and thank you for sharing. Good to see you, Daisy. I'm just waiting for Congress to give themselves a raise because of the high prices, right? Good point. Hey, Kathy, good to see you. Rice and beans for DC. I agree. Romans 12:18. I got friends with chicken houses who hands me a flat a month just for 30 minutes of work. That's awesome, Romans. That is awesome. Corn Pop is the jar bean. Yeah, right. Right on. All right. So, let me see. Mitten says extra pennies is a joke since they literally hike prices up right after everything. Gas prices is the major issue at $5.15 to $5.45 a gallon, depending on the area. Yeah, gas prices. We are at, what did I pay? I filled up my tank today. I paid $54, which I was used to paying $26. So more than doubled than a year or so ago. Yarn Prepper, thank you for that. I'll get it out. I'll try to get it out tomorrow. If not, I'll get it out this week. Thank you so much, Yarn, for that. Good to see you, Vitra. Diehard liberals believe social justice is more important than our survival as a country. Well said. Well said. I saw Publix had the 20-pound bag of rice on sale yesterday and got the last one. It's in the freezer. Awesome, Dragon. Miss Bella says $7 in the Midwest for premium. I know out in Washington State, and I think in Oregon and certain parts over that area too, they're up to about $9 a gallon for just regular fuel, from my understanding. Retired and disabled are disposable. Unfortunately, Rocca, that's how they look at it. Peter Rouse says, last month there were no eggs even available in the supermarkets. That's rough. Diabetic Prepper, good to see you. All right, so let me $4.95 a gallon in Massachusetts. Thanks, Big Dog, for sharing. And Lawrence, thank you for sharing. Because it's not just the U.S., folks. It's Canada. It's Belgium. It's Sweden. It's Norway. It's global. And the entire globe is facing these crises on food, gas, and everything else. You think we are not alone per se in this situation. And like I said, unfortunately, the powers that run the world per se, they're not feeling the crunch as much as we are, the citizens of these countries. Margene, thank you for sharing that. Michigan, 519. What bothers me is that they don't seem to be worried about midterms. Empress Kimberly, I agree. I've noticed that. It's very lackadaisical. Is that how you say it? Lackadaisical. I think I'm saying that right. I'm doing good, Diabetic. But they just seem like to not care, which always makes me think they have some sort of card up their sleeve or some sort of ace in the hole like they did for the previous election. Thank you. I appreciate that, Steve. So let's get into, what would happen if the U.S. economy were to collapse. Let's get into that discussion. we're already, what, 15 minutes in, and I've been rambling on enough, right? Tiny Titan says 529 in Southern Oregon. Thank you, Tiny Titan. Could be just Washington State. I don't know. I know California has some of the highest prices as well. Thank you, Vanru. Right on, big dog. Viv B, good to see you as well. All right, so let me bring up my little, it's not a PowerPoint presentation, but, you know, my little 1, 2, 3, and 4. And just in case you guys were curious, I did post this link to this article where I took these pieces from, that I just kind of screenshot, because I hate all the what is it, the what's it called, Gray, the advertisements on the website. So I like to clean them up a little bit. So let's go ahead and share this real quick here. And it says, would a U.S. economic collapse happen and how to prepare? Is this my number one? Yes. So I want to read through this because it has some valid points. And, you know, like I said, we can't be 100% certain. Good to see you, Dr. Eric Kessel. Hello from Indiana. Good to see you, John Jones. It says, if an economic collapse occurs, it would happen very fast. So it's not something slow. You know what I mean? They predicted if it's going to happen, it's going to be like night and day. You're going to be here one day, and the next day you're going to be like, everything has gone to chaos, more than it is so at this point now. Just imagine how fast something like this can happen. It says no one can predict it. We can, like I said, people can research, people can put out information, people could do a lot of different things and guesstimate what would happen. And that's all we're doing. That's why we're having this conversation. It says the factor of surprise is in itself the cause of the collapse, which is why did it happen? The signs of a prominent failure are complicated for most people to realize. It said in recent years, the U.S. economy almost collapsed on September 17th, 2008. It said it was the day the reserve primary fund broke the buck. Investors panicked and withdrew a record $140 billion from the money market accounts where businesses kept cash to fund day-to-day operations. So we almost lost it, folks, back in 2008. And I'm pretty sure you guys saw the state of the economy really well. Shots fired inside a Walmart Supercenter in Phoenix. Breaking. Shots fired inside Walmart Supercenter in Phoenix. Great. Another one. Sorry, I get like these notifications that pop up, and I figured I'd read it while I saw it pop up. It says if withdrawals had continued on for even a week, so if the withdrawals continued, the entire U.S. economy would have halted. This meant that trucks would stop working, grocery stores would be out of food, and businesses would close down. That's how close the U.S. economy came to a real collapse, and how vulnerable it is to experience another one. So it almost happened. So when people say it can never happen, not in the U.S., no way. The U.S. is too much of a strong country. There's no way that an economic collapse, the U.S. will never fall. We were almost there, folks, back in 2008. Something to think about. It says, fortunately, the Federal Reserve Chairman and U.S. Treasury Secretary noticed the signal and knew the meaning of it. Ben Bernanke was a Great Depression scholar. Hank Paulson was a Wall Street veteran. Their plan supplied enough cash to prevent the complete collapse. The 2008 financial crisis did a lot of damage, but it could have been even worse. Excuse me. It says, if you want to understand what it's like during the collapse, and this is something I always refer to, you should talk to people who lived through the Great Depression. The stock market crashed on Black Thursday. The following Tuesday, it was down 25%. A lot of investors lost their life savings that weekend. Imagine folks were to lose their life savings at this point, everything they've worked for their entire lives, how they would feel, what would happen to their families. Anyways, and it said the Dow didn't recover until 1954. So look how long it's crazy when you look at that. The recovery was long and very detrimental to a lot of people. Millions and millions and millions of people were without work. And were, that's where the whole victory gardens and things like that popped up. Anyways, it says by 1933, 1 of 4 people were unemployed. Wages dropped for those who still had jobs. The U.S. gross domestic product, or the GDP, census numbers was cut in half. Thousands of farmers and other unemployed workers moved to California, out of all places. I don't know why, to seek work. Most of them became homeless hobos or moved to Hooverville shanty towns, which I'm pretty sure you guys have seen things of that nature. And it says, what would happen if an economic crash? What would happen in an economic crash? So what would happen inside the economic crash? My apologies. Sometimes I move too fast for my own britches. And I'm trying to see afternoon stealth mode. I'm trying to see I'm sitting here reading chat, and I'm thinking this is new chat. And my husband lost half of his 401k, Oki Khan says. That's rough. More rain tonight, golf ball size hail possible, and 65. Minute man, you're in a crazy situation there, huh? I put this little monitor down here so that I can still see chat when I'm talking about stuff on the screen, and trying to keep track of things, I guess. And Chief Prepper, thank you for sending me I didn't have enough time to send your egg picture, but I did discuss it early on in the chat. What's up, Pilgrim Prepper? If they can't start an economic collapse and shut down our grid, we'd be in a very bad place. Major collapse. Agreed. I'm reading a book. I read a lot of books about economic collapse. I read books about EMPs and grid failures and stuff like that because I like to learn from these books. And I know they're fiction, but there's a lot to be learned because they're written by people that are either in the preparedness community or have done a lot of research before they write these books. So it's always like a forethought for me to kind of listen to these books, read these books, and see where some people made mistakes and how that could truly happen and what could I do in that instance to protect myself and my family. Anyways, it says if the economy collapses again, that's the way they're presenting it, full-on collapse, you would see losses. You would lose access to credit. Banks would close. So if you have money in the banks, this is why we always tell people don't keep all your eggs in one basket. If you have some sort of big savings account, you need to diversify it at certain times. And remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I want to state that up front. But I put enough in the bank just to cover the bills. Other than that, I put everything else into either silver, food, preps, emergency cash, because if things start to happen, cash will be good for a few days, maybe a week or two before people realize it's worthless and it's only good to start fires with at that point. Anyways, it says demand would override the supply of food, gas, and other necessities. If the crash affected local governments and utilities, then water and electricity would no longer be available. As people panic, they would go into survival and self-defense mode. The economy would return to a virtually traditional economy where those who grow food barter for other services. Again, this is why we always talk about self-sufficiency, because then you will be the commodity. The economy will be set around you at that point because you have something to offer, because everyone needs to eat. Everyone needs to drink. This is why we talk a lot about water and food and why we prep it, because if something was to happen, and as they're considering a traditional economy, those who grow food would barter for other services. So if you need something fixed in your house. Well, I yielded this many peppers or tomatoes or potatoes or rice or beans or whatever you get, corn, whatever you got growing, maybe a hot commodity. I know also people like to stockpile stuff like, nicotine and alcohol and just lots of stuff like that. Even those little freedom seeds, that'll be like gold in a situation like this. Anyways, back to the article. It says a U.S. economic crash would create global panic. So this would not just affect the U.S., it would affect the entire planet. Demand for the dollar and the U.S. Treasury would tremendously decrease. Interest rates would skyrocket. Investors would rush into other currencies such as the yuan, euro, or gold, aka also silver, which they should have put in this article. It would not only create inflation, but hyperinflation, as the dollar would become very cheap. B. Walker, chocolate. Yes, chocolate is a good commodity. You guys know I store cocoa powder because it stores better than chocolate in itself. Regular barred chocolate bars. It stores better than chocolate bars. So I store cocoa, basically one of the main ingredients of chocolate. I would try to make my own chocolate per se. I live in Western Oklahoma. Thank you, Minuteman, for clarification. I know there's been a lot of tornadoes and crazy activity out there. Let me see. Rock Prep 11, Joe's USA, Venezuela 2.0. I agree there. I agree with you. I got my coffee bean plants yesterday. That's awesome, Passamaquoddy. See, I would have to do some trading. I don't know. We'd have to create some trade routes amongst all of our great community members and whatnot, because some folks can grow things that others can't grow in certain areas. But yeah. All right. So moving on. And there's 4 parts to this. and then we'll get into chat. You know what I mean? And I can be more integrated with you folks. Empress Kimberly, it's stressing a lot of people out, folks. It's making people depressed. It's making people so worrisome that they're at their wits' end. You know what I mean? Because they're so concerned about their family and their kids and loved ones and stuff like that. This is stressing out everyone. Excuse me. It says, are we close to a total economic collapse? So let's kind of talk about it. These are some of the following scenarios that would create an economic collapse, because I was curious, what could push us over the edge? You know, what specifics have to happen for the U.S. to for U.S. to get into an economic collapse? All right, so number one, it says, if the U.S. dollar quickly loses value, it would create hyperinflation. That's one of the possible scenarios. Number two, a bank run, which we've seen happen in Canada and we've seen happen in several other places. But a bank run could force banks to shut down or even go out of business, cutting off lending and cash withdrawals. Number three, the internet could become paralyzed with a super virus preventing all online transactions. Imagine the internet was to go down, all e-commerce, Amazon, all your credit, banking, all that stuff like that you normally do online, or just hopping onto your phone to pay a bill or whatnot, would no longer be viable. You would not be able to order stuff. And what I mean, just us, I mean the stores. A lot of our food warehousing and distribution centers all run through the net. Without the net, there is no more distribution. There is no more. It would have to go back to the dark ages, per se. And I don't mean specifically like, before vehicles existed. What I mean is that people would have to do things manually. How long would it take them to do that? How much chaos would ensue before they could get that into motion? Would they be too much chaos? Would they be able to recover from that? And then some folks, well, the government's going to come and save you. We have a strong military. We have this and that. I get that point and I get that reasoning. But as we've seen in other scenarios in the past, and I'll use Katrina. And matter of fact, I think they use Katrina in this article as well. But we've seen that the government always doesn't work as fast or as efficient as they should. And sometimes people are left to their own demise. Anyways, it says, number four, terrorist attacks on a massive oil embargo could halt interstate trucking. Grocery stores would run out of food extremely fast. Most people know by now, most grocery stores for their area only carry enough food for 3 to 4 days. So if they're not getting shipments within 3 to 4 days, and then you add panic buying in there, which might bring it down to 2 days, maybe 3 or less even, the food would be off the shelves and you would be left to fend for yourself at that point, because they won't be getting resupply shipments of the foods that people need on a daily basis. Think about the average person. The average American only has a couple of days worth of food in their pantry. And I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about the general public. Pretty much 70% or more of the population live this way. Number five, widespread violence erupts across the nation. That could range from inner city riots, a civil war, or a military attack. It's possible that a combination of these events could overwhelm the government's ability to prevent or respond to a crash. Kind of what I just touched on is that it seems like that everything is easy to resolve through government intervention. But when they become spread thin, just like in a military conflict, when let's say that you have a strong military and there's 100,000 troops, but then you spread those 100,000 troops in 4 different fronts, they become thinner and more. What's the word I'm looking for? More. I can't think of that. For some reason, the words out of my mind, but they become more vulnerable at that point because they're spread thin. Anyways, in March 2019, the Federal Reserve warned that climate change, remember that word, folks, remember the word climate change, just because, we hear that a lot, and that's being shoved down everybody's throats currently. It says that climate change can threaten the U.S. financial system. Extreme weather caused by climate change is forcing farms, utilities, and other companies to go bankrupt. Quite intriguing that they threw this in here. Anyways, it says, as those loans go under, it will damage the bank's balance sheets, just like it did during the subprime mortgage crisis, the housing bubble. A study by Pennsylvania State University predicted that extreme weather in the USA will increase by 50% by 2100. Well, I don't think I'll be alive in the year 2100. So, but hopefully my children and my children's children will be prepared. It will cost the U.S. government $112 billion a year, according to the U.S. Government Accountability Office. So that's the thing that they've been hanging on to, folks. They've been pushing the whole, climate change, and we've seen how that evolves from the, I think, was it the 60s and 70s until what it is now. You have large organizations like the World Economic Forum and all those folks preaching it. We have our own government preaching it. And all these other governments, and the sheep are just like, yeah, sure, that's what's going on, not understanding that the world, the earth itself goes through these things thousands and thousands of years. It has been going through these situations over thousands and thousands of years. I even prove a point. I proved a point back on one of my Sunday shift reports where I showed you that that the Caribbean, or not the Caribbean, the hurricanes have been. There's been more hurricanes due to less pollution because there was more heat reflected off the ocean back into the atmosphere. And without that, now there's more heat reaching the oceans, warming the oceans faster, creating these more intense and more frequent storms that have been devastating the coastline of the East Coast and down there in Texas and all that area in the Gulf Coast. This is all due to because we're trying to clean everything up so much. Anyways, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right now. Anyways, it says natural disasters could cause localized collapse. If Hurricane Irma had come to Miami, its damage would have been worse than Hurricane Katrina. And if the 2019 polar vortex breakup had lasted for weeks instead of days, cities would have shut down. Munich Re, the world's largest reassurance firm, blamed global warming for $24 billion of losses in the California wildfires. It said, if warned that insurance firms will have to raise their premiums to cover the increasing costs from extreme weather that could make insurance too expensive for a lot of people. So folks out there wouldn't be able to afford insurance if something bad was to happen to their home due to whatever reasons. Let's say wind insurance, flood insurance, fire insurance, and the list goes on. Anyways, to finish this part off, it says some believe the Federal Reserve, the president, or the international conspiracy are conducting the United States towards economic ruin. Now, maybe they're saying it's a conspiracy, but as over years have gone through, we've noticed that a lot of conspiracies have come true. Anyways, it says, if that's the case, the economy could crash in as little as a week. The economy is run on confidence that debts will be paid back, food and gas will be constantly available, and that you'll get paid for the week's work. So basically, you expect to get your paycheck. Imagine if you didn't get it. Imagine you started working, and then a week later, you didn't get paid. How detrimental would that be? If a big enough piece of that stops for even several days, it would create a chain reaction that would lead to a rapid collapse. What's up, Brian Keith? Good to see you. What's up, Big A? Good to see you as well. Carice, good to see you. Planted 30 pounds of seed potatoes this year. That's awesome, Carice. Yeah, Daniel, I'm almost there. It's just a little tickle in the back of my throat. The head congestion is gone. The feeling like crap and the lethargic and all that stuff is gone. I'm almost there, folks. But I'm going to keep on pushing. You know what I mean? That's my goal, is to push myself no matter how things, work themselves out. I'm going to just keep on going. And I got too much to do to be sick. And so I don't have time to be sick per se. I took a few days off last week, and then I said, that's enough's enough. Anyways, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, the Buffett indicator. This talks about GDP. Now, if you look at this graph here, you can see the 1987 bubble, the GDP drop, it kind of bounces around and shows you the 2000 bubble and the 2007 bubble. Look what's coming our direction. It's basically, they're calling it the epic bubble. So this is going to possibly be something in epic proportion when everything collapses, because everything that you're being told most likely is just to calm people's nerves, to to not incite panic, but they don't understand. People are going to get gas every day. People are going to buy food. People aren't stupid. Now, I guess I can't speak for everybody because evidently there's 13% that believe that the economy is going in the right direction. But when I saw this chart here and I looked at it and looked at the whole ratios and whatnot, this is something to be truly concerned about. Now, I don't want anybody to freak or scare anybody out. All I really, truly want folks is to do is be prepared. So let me drop that down and slow down and catch my breath here. How much bug out food should you put in your backpack and what do you put in it? Kitsy Witsy, that's not an easy answer. Because what is your nutritional needs? And what do you mean by bug out? Do you mean like an inch bag, which means I'm never coming home bag? You know what I mean? You can only carry so much food. You can only carry so much water. That's where people have a misconception when it comes into sorry, I saw something that made me laugh. That's the misconception is the goal. Honestly, bugging out is honestly your super last resort to never come back to your home. Just think about what you have in your home. Think about your dehydrator. Think about your your food saver. Think about your canning. Think about all your supplies, all the food, your stockpile, your pantry, all your medical supplies. You could not put a house on your back and carry it with you. How many out there, and you could be honest with yourself, how many people out there have put at least 20 pounds, just let's say 20 pounds of weight on your back and walked several miles with it? Just walking several miles. Imagine right now in Florida, it's 90 degrees with a humidity of 85%, and you're trying to carry just 20 pounds on your back. Most people will not be able to do that. So to bug out, probably that's going to be most people's last resort. And then imagine bugging out with your family. Imagine you have your kids with you. You know what I mean? You become if people see you, depending on how you do this. Now, if people see you with, let's say, a bug out bag, right? And you can go gray. You can just have a regular hiking bag. It doesn't have to be tactical or anything like that. You can go gray. People say, oh, you should buy a GreyMan bag. Not one of my bags. I mean, just, so that you blend in with the surrounding area. Still, people know that people carry valuables in purses. People carry valuables in backpacks and so on and so forth. So that still puts a red X on the back of your head, or a target per se, right? Because people will be desperate, because there's a lot of folks out there who are ill prepared for almost every scenario that we discuss here on the channel. People are, just recently, Florida had a little bit of wind and rain, a little tropical, system that moved through, and it did flood some areas. But even here locally, there was lines at the gas station. People were going crazy at the store. And this was a very, very, it was like an afternoon shower. And there's so many people that have moved to this area. They're just unfamiliar with it. So they get scared and they panic buy. What's up, JM? Good to see you. I'm too old to run. I'll give them my best shots and deny them my preps by. Exactly, Romans. That's how I look at it as well, folks. No matter how great I think I am, which I'm not. I'm just another person. I'm just a human being. I'm just like you folks. I'm not in the greatest shape. I'm not in top physical, shape. And you can be an elite. You can be, 1%, body fat on your body, which to me still is not good in the aspect of starvation. But anyways, that's a whole nother a story, is that you can be in the best of shape of your life. No sleep, no food, no water, long hauls with your family. It's still going to be detrimental to you. You know what I mean? And then the whole lone wolf thing, that's another rabbit hole that people like to go down to. I don't think, I think people need people, to be honest with you. I appreciate that, Pony Girl. Thank you, D14. Good to see you. It's simple. How do I want to say this? Sure, you think you're by yourself, you're better off. You don't have to worry about other people and stuff like that. But most of us have families. We're just not going to take off and leave our family behind. Maybe some of you are single and in top physical, shape and whatnot. and you're going to try to strike out on your own and become some sort of lone wolf. But eventually, you cannot stay up forever. You have to sleep. And some people will say, well, I'll sleep and I'll disguise my location very well. No one will come across me. That's what everybody says. Eventually, something is going to get you. So having more than one person is always beneficial, at least from my eyes. Red October, I agree. Sorry, YouTube flagged it because of the swear words. We got to use other terminology, like just put a-holes or something. Red October. But I do understand it. You're exactly right. Let me see here. I live near a big city. I will probably need to get Kitsy Witsy, most likely. Here's the thing. If you live in a big city, let's look at this big city situation, right? If you live in a big city or a heavily populated area, now's the time to either hopefully have a friend, a family, or have a plan to go somewhere rural. And what I mean by rural is 100 miles, probably at least 100 miles away from a big city epicenter. You know what I mean? Because most folks, after 100 miles, if you can find a spot that's pretty rural, 100 miles away from a major city, you just have better options and better chances. And if you're going to be doing this, hopefully you have routes to get to this location. Hopefully you have enough gas to get to this location. Hopefully you have redundancies in place to know that you're going to make it along, to go that route. Now, another possible thing that people like to do is caches. And I'm saying it that way because if I say cash, people will think money. Excuse me. Is along that route, maybe you have some other options in case, let's say, let me see. Thanks, Minute Man. What I was trying to say is let's say you have a cache along the way. You have several caches along your route. Because what if you lose your vehicle and you have to walk? You know what I mean? Maybe you're going in from one environment to the next environment. Maybe you want to have food stored and water and things like that, medicine and all this other stuff like that. Because what happens if for some reason you run into a group of folks that rob you? They don't kill you, but they rob you for your food. Maybe they're good people, but they have no choice because they have kids and they're going to rob you because they just need it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they're good people or bad people, but in general. But 3 miles up or maybe 5 miles up, you have a cache with some resupply. These are just so many different things to think about when you're trying to map out a scenario like this. And it can be very complicated. And some people are just going to say, no, I can't do that. I'm going to stay in my house and I'm going to use every piece of brass that I have to defend myself, my property, and my family. And I hear you, because that's how I look at it too. The last thing I want to do is be out in the road where there's nothing but utter chaos. So there's a lot of different scenarios, and I would love to. I'd rather have a guest on to kind of bounce ideas back from with us, talking and kind of gaming that out a little bit outside of just my own opinion. But I've done it myself. It's someone asked me, what about your wife and your daughter? And they, brought up things to me about that, stuff like that, because women in a SHTF scenario, women in themselves is going to be like this commodity, because women are going to be a target, because unfortunately that's the way society is. And it's disgusting. Yes, it is. But so, that I think about stuff like that, and what would I do in those situations? So these are so many different components to try to map or, plan something out. But the thing is to try to do it now. And if you have the opportunity, if you go on a vacation or something like that, or if you not going on a vacation, but if you have time, it's sometimes to run those drills. You know what I mean? What if this was to happen? How long would it take us to get our stuff together and get to from, where we're living to where we want to go? Because sometimes you might realize that might not be the best case for you and your family. Let me see. Brian Keith says, got more brass today, 4 boxes of 9, 10 boxes of 12 gauge slugs. Brian, and that a lot of people are having tough times buying things because of the cost, but at least you got some stuff to add to what you already have. Like I said, I've been storing ammunition and buying ammunition for well over a decade. I get told I have too much. that I can't carry it all, and all the other things that people can do to kind of say you shouldn't be doing that. I don't care what anybody says. It makes me happy to look around and see thousands and thousands, and I'm not going to give you a right number, but I'm just going to say thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds, because it makes me feel good to have those. You know what I mean? And what's up, Food Forest Permaculture? Good to see you. Does ammo go bad? Kitsy Witsy, if stored properly, not so much. That's why, if you notice ammo cans, when you buy an ammo can, they have a seal on the inside. Okay. So when you close that ammo can, it's airtight. Now, I put a couple things in my ammo cans. What is the proper term for it? But anyways, things that absorb moisture. You know what I mean? So I don't keep my ammo in the little cardboard boxes that they come into. I dump them into an ammo can and label it. If I fill it up, I will also put the date on there and stuff like that. And if I'm going to do some things, I'll use that ammo first. And of course, you always want to inspect your ammo at least every few months, maybe at least twice a year. You know what I mean? But because you want to look for oxidation and stuff like that. So depending on where you live, humidity levels, moisture, where you have your ammo stored, how you're storing it, all that comes into play. You want to know what you're doing with that, and it can last for quite some time. I got 9mm rounds that I bought back in 1997, and they're still good. I ran a few clips just the other day of it, just for fun, because it was ball ammo, and no problems. You know what I mean? So that's 1997 ammo. So you can kind of, hopefully that'll help answer some of your questions. Let me see. Passamaquoddy says I planted bird seed, or Pilgrim says I planted bird seeds. No birds yet though. Right on, Pilgrim. Dupsy Daisy, Lily B, good point. Snake bite. I seal my ammo in food saver bags, vacuum sealed, and mark them in the cans. Great, Brian. And yes, I do that as well. Matter of fact, I have some 50 cal rounds after I sold my 50 cal, still vacuum sealed in bags, dated from a long time ago. Minuteman 69, and that's how a lot of Russian ammo comes. They come in those sealed cans, and it's sealed cans for a reason. Just do a little bit of research, folks, and you'll find ways that may work for you. It's just like I said, I can tell you what I do. And I probably will down the road. I probably will put a video out about how I do things. But remember where I live. I live in Florida. Now, where you live may be different. Everyone has, we can learn all from each other, but everybody has a different set of circumstances and where they live. Hopefully that helps. What's up, Swafford Homestead? Good to see you. Power outage in the National Forest today. No reason. 4 hours, no storm, nothing going on, no explanation. That's interesting, Biggs Prep. That is very interesting. Empress Kimberly, ammo goes bad. All right, Empress, here. Let me see here. I have not had my ammo go bad yet. Let me see. It says here, matter here. I just typed this in just for fun, just to, ammo goes bad. I just typed this in there. It says ammunition isn't a perishable good. If stored correctly, it can last almost indefinitely. Whether it was stored correctly or not is another matter. Ammunition isn't like the still edible 5,000-year-old honey found in Egyptians, ready to spread on toast. But it says it can last almost indefinitely if stored correctly. So that basically states, again, with almost anything that we talk about here, is if stored correctly. Janet, that depends on you. Sorry, donate all your bad ammo to me. Right on, Okie. Big Dog says he's used a ton of M1 Garand ammo from World War II. That's awesome. Like I said, it all comes to storage and how you store stuff. That's with food, with ammo, with medicine, with everything. And like I said, we could always extend the shelf life of a lot of different things if we know what we're doing and how to store it properly. me see. I saw something here. Biggs Prep says we have run through some ammo from the 70s recently, 22 rounds or 22 rounds. It was perfect. Donate to me, Dragon Slayer says. So in regards to what you should have, I forgot. I saw an answer. That's awesome, Minute Man. I saw someone ask about a rifle versus a shotgun. That depends on, again, where you live, what you're using it for. If is it home defense, you know what I mean? With everything, you need to educate yourself outside of what someone tells you. Just because Grey says, hey, do this or buy this doesn't mean you should. You know, do your own research. Let's say if I tell you to go and buy, I don't know, if I tell you to go buy a stapler, right? If I go tell you to buy a stapler, yes, I think it's a great idea. I find a stapler to be very detrimental to my preps. I know how to use it. I'm going to use it. And there's reasons why I do it. Now, some folks may like, well, you know, they might, what am I trying to say here, man? What I'm trying to say basically is you need to know whatever that you buy or whatever you plan on purchasing, especially if it's going to cost you a good penny per se. Make sure you know the application. So like home defense, a lot of people will tell you get a shotgun. A shotgun works great. Sure, you can, you know, if you shoot a shotgun in your house, which I have accidentally in the past, a long time ago, folks, a long time ago, I made a mistake. It can do a lot of damage. So depending if, let's say you have a shotgun and you have double odd buck loaded in that shotgun and you're firing down a hallway, but one of your kids or your husband, your wife, or whoever's on the near that hallway and your assailant is in that hallway, you might hit them. Now, if it's a clear shot, why not light them up? You know what I mean? Just like I had a conversation with someone the other day, they were wondering, they pulled out their magazine. So they, you know, we were showing each other our firearms and they pulled out their clip and they had ball ammo in there. And I said, well, what do you use this for? And they said, for home defense. And I said, do you understand the difference between hollow points and ball ammo? And they were like, well, what do you mean? I said, well, hollow points, the stopping power, and the reason why it mushrooms. And I went into the specifics versus your ball ammo that could possibly, if you shoot it and you're shooting in a specific direction, it may travel and go through that drywall in your house and hit someone in another room outside of your intended target. So there's unfortunately, there's a lot to learn when it comes to everything. And I know I've gone down this tangent with ammo and rifles and stuff like that, but I want people to be as safe as possible. And when they spend their money, to spend their money wisely. Oh, okay. Yeah. She was extremely happy. That was a nasty mess to clean up per se, right? Matter of fact, a long time ago in an old cabin that we had years and years ago, a friend of mine, he had just a 20 gauge and wasn't paying attention. And, you know, we were young at the time and shot literally a hole in the cabin roof because he was doing something and he touched the trigger and it was a Winchester. I think it was a Winchester Defender, and it was very touchy and put a hole in the roof. So treat every gun as it's loaded, folks, because things happen. No matter even how careful you may be, things happen. So always treat every firearm like it's loaded. Let me see. I purchased lids that have rubber seals and can be reused over and over. That's awesome, Joyce. Let's get Billy. Yarn Prepper, I agree. Let's get Billy to 4,000 subs. I just talked to him the other day. I'm trying to see what you guys are talking about because I see some shaking my heads. And what you guys are trying to see? Back up a little bit because sometimes you want to shoot through a wall, by the way. Right on, Chief. Yes. So, Chief, speaking of that, and we'll tell Flyover State, welcome to the Grey family. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yes, sometimes you do. So now I'm not telling you to do this because in certain states, it's illegal to do this. So in my magazine, I feel like I want to reach down and grab it, but I know I will get banned or whatnot. I use what they do. It's called staggered. So I run a hollow point and let's say an FMJ or ball ammo, whatever you call it. I stagger the two, so I run hollow point, ball ammo, because let's say I'm in a firefight, right? And someone is hiding behind a car door. I need penetration at that point. So a hollow point won't give me the penetration I'm looking for. It has a stopping power to stop the person, but it doesn't have the penetration to get through that door. Most likely it's going to mushroom and stop relatively. It's going to lose that velocity and that power relatively quickly. Ball ammo will move through that door a lot more effectively, or through a wall, and so on and so forth. So there's reasons for everything. So like I said, we could talk for hours about stuff like this. You know, I love conversations like this. And I know we've veered off to our, you know, what if the U.S. economy were to collapse? But I think we covered that pretty well. And that's kind of why I like, you know, doing my intro, talking to you guys a little bit, talking about the subject that we have for the live stream, and then kind of going into these conversations. I appreciate that, Snakebite. Thank you. Birdshot, buckshot. Are you asking a question, Angie? Like, should you use birdshot or buckshot? Because if it's home defense, you want stopping power. Me, when I had my shotgun loaded, I would go slug, double-aught buckshot, slug, double-aught buckshot. They have their reasons, you know what I mean? Because you might need a slug for a specific reason, or you might need the buckshot for a specific reason. You know how these specific types of rounds work and why they're made. You know what I mean? Other than people going out and buying stuff, that's the worst thing that people can do is car doors don't stop a 7.62. Right on, Minute Man. You know, when you buy things, be it firearms, be it, you know, emergency kits, be it food, be it whatever that you happen to buy, folks, this is why you need to go further with it, other than buying it and then putting it up and not ever thinking about it again until a situation arises. You need to be familiar with everything that you have in your preps. Every single aspect of your preparedness kit, you need to be extremely familiar with, because the last thing you want to do is be caught off guard that an emergency arises and you don't know how to use it. You know how many people I've come across that, like, you know, they carry a firearm and they don't know how to take it apart. They don't know how to clean it. They don't have spare parts. It blows me away. They have this weapon and they don't know anything else other than how to point and shoot. You know what I mean? Which to me, sure, that's great to know, but there's a lot of other things that are with that. You need to learn how to clean your firearm. You need to know how to disassemble it. You need to know how to repair it. You need to have those spare parts for it. Right on, Janet. I was trying to read what you were saying to make sure it was okay. But yeah, but that's funny, Janet. Thank you. I'm reading what Yarn wrote. And I'm trying to back up to Little Alaskan. I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. You know, Little Alaskan Home Place and Yarn. I have that tattooed on my arm. Basically, it just that's how much I believe in that. That I'd rather be carried. Yes, 100%. 100%. Sorry, I know I went quiet on you guys. Double barrel, side by side, attention getter. Right on, Steve. Yeah, and you know that with the shotgun, when you rack a shotgun and someone hears that on the other side of the door, it does put fear into people's hearts. That whole, you know what I mean? That's awesome, Snakebite. And I think everyone should. Yeah, Quest, right? It's not like a video game. Exactly. Too many people think that, you know what I mean? This younger generation, you know, think they have infinite ammo, you know what I mean? And they can't be, you know, hurt or whatnot. Video games have destroyed America's youth. It sure has, man. Let me see here. Where are we at on the time? It gets their attention. Exactly, Steve. Anyways, folks, I do have dinner plans with the family. So we're at an hour. I want to say if you did get any value out of it, hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, my apologies. I try to give you at least some beneficial information on every stream we have. So hopefully, you know, you got some sort of benefit out of this. Maybe you learned something new. If you can, share it with somebody that might need this information. You know what I mean? There's a wealth of information outside of myself. There's a wealth of information on YouTube and a lot of other content creators, but there's also a wealth of information in our community that we have built here. The Grey community is a massive wealth of information. If you can, join the Discord, folks. I'm telling you, a lot of knowledgeable people are in the Discord. So much information, gardening stuff, herbal stuff, people in your area, prices. There's just so much stuff in the Discord. And I know some people's like, oh, it's just another thing I got to download or another this like that. It's a lot easier than you would think, folks. I appreciate that, Steve. But I want to say thank you again to every single one of you people out there who take the time to come and watch my live streams and watch my videos, to comment, to do all that stuff like that. Thank you so much for your support and your continued support over the last year and change. I really do appreciate that. You guys mean the world to me. Other than that, please, everyone, be safe out there. And again, no, you are not alone, folks. You are not alone. And if you have any other questions or anything like that, feel free to email me, feel free to reach out whatever way you can, folks. And mods, thank you for everything you do. I truly appreciate you guys being here and helping me out. Keep this stream running nice and smooth. Other than that, folks, God bless, and I'll see you guys on the rebound. This is GreyMan, and I'm out.